Hello, everyone. So, I was on the phone and I was talking with my wife, and I was talking about the video I made last night on Hollywood Boulevard, where I got to talking and I started like getting ready to do my little dance, and it's really weird because I haven't really done that dance in Sacramento, and it. What would happen is I'd doze, and I would go out and start walking around, and I would go up in through people's neighborhoods, and I would, just like look at their yards and their houses, and you could just see how all the monotony in their life, or the stresses, or the bullshit that they have to deal with throughout their life, um, causes them to create the art that is their yard and their the beauty that comes out of all the bullshit. That works on so many levels. And yeah, so anyways, when I'm doing that, a lot of times I can see the cracks in the road, and it just like makes me feel like dancing in between the cracks, and so I do like that. And so we got to talking, and since we're on the subject of mushrooms anyway, I'm going to tell you a story about mushrooms. Um, there's a lady, and I don't want to name names on this one. So there was a lady and we went to this place, and we dozed, and we were having an experience. It was like so divine, and she was asked, to stop analyzing things and to just be with that energy, and but she couldn't, and she kept wanting answers to this, wanting answers to that, and wanting. I did that too at the very beginning, and it was like, as soon as I did all that, it was like I saw all these answers, and I kind of got the impression that, oh, I see, so I don't need to worry about that shit anymore. I think I've touched on this before in another video, but she didn't. She kept asking questions, getting shown answers, every infinite possible conclusion to every infinite possible possibility. And she said herself, she said, the energy said, can't you just be with me? And so, anyways, I bring that up because this last time that we dosed, we were at a motel, and we were just kind of sitting there. Wasn't it pretty? And so we were just sitting there, and she dosed first, and I showed her a neat little trick, something you can do when you're dosing. And then I went ahead and dosed, and I went to my divine spot, and I was asked to show, or not to show, to share something with her. And it's real easy to do. I mean, I can't see how it would be that complicated. The only thing was she had to stop thinking in order to receive it. So I asked her to, stop thinking. Just for a minute. Just for a moment. And all of a sudden what came out of that was, well, you're the one that's saying this. You're the one that... All I asked you to do was just stop thinking for just a moment so I could share this with you. And it was just too much. And so I laid on my back, and I went back to my spot, and I started, doing my dose thing. And because I like the experience. And so eventually, well, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you about what happened the rest of the night because that's personal to her. But I will tell you about the fact that what I believe I was being shown was that this is why she's not like with that energy, is because she won't stop overanalyzing shit. And so it's a shame. How do I proceed with this? Okay, so she won't stop overanalyzing, and I really wanted to be with her. I really, really wanted to be with her, but so I think this was that energy's way of showing me why it wasn't going to work, and it didn't set in until a little bit later when she was just like, okay, in this experience, I was very upfront with her on everything, the good, the bad, everything. And I just didn't have anything to hide because I just don't have time for, fucking self-righteous, pompous, lying bullshit. Fucking making other people look like shit so that I can pretend to make myself look better when the whole time I'm just making myself look like shit because I'm lying. Fuck that, I don't have time for it. So I was just upfront and honest because I thought maybe we could build something on something real, like, honesty and caring about each other versus, can I buy one of those from you? Thanks. So anyways, I knew it was a new tactic. Thanks. I knew it was a new tactic for building a relationship. Didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I sure wanted to try it. And at first, it was really, really good. But then, what happened was there was nothing to hide. So everybody. I'll talk about everybody in a second. There's nothing to hide. So what it turned into was the person with nothing to hide must have something to hide, and which was false because all she had to do was ask me about anything, and I'll tell her. I told her, and even if I didn't look good in the story, I told her because, like I said, I was tired of fucking all this capitalistic fucking ego tripping crap. And so the reason I brought up everybody was because she has what she calls a support group, and she goes and she talks to them when she needs support, and the support group I'm sure would like to give her support the way that she wants it, but in reality the only thing that this support group has to go on is the information that she's already given them. But since she only goes to them when she needs support, the information that she's given them is negative information. She doesn't go to them and ask for support with positive information. It just doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't. So these people have a negative mindset as to what's going on because their only impression is what they have of that negative mindset when she goes in to ask for support. So, from there, they would continue to offer negative support because it's a negative situation because they don't know that there's any positive to it. And it spirals. And so, it's really aggravating because had we taken the time to like maybe have a conversation with some of these people and they could have seen the way that we interacted when it wasn't negative things, then maybe there would have been a different mindset. But no, all they had was the negative information, the negative mindset, and the negative progression. And the negative progression happens with, you say one negative thing, people have a negative aspect, negative impression, and then they try to recommend what's going to happen. Well, you plant another seed of shit, whether or not it's real or it exists or it's even possible, sure enough, that's in there. And if we're not careful with this, it can spiral out. So when you have nothing left to analyze, what do? You start manifesting things to analyze, and it's like manifesting another shoe to drop. Like, well, fucking, what else can go wrong? When you say that, you're manifesting something else to go wrong. And she kept asking me, how could you be this fucking good? Well, I'm not good. Good and bad is a matter of perspective. I'm just going through a change in my life, and that's all I've ever been doing since I've met her. I'm just trying to be a better person and somebody I can live with myself. And anyways, manifesting the other shoe, it reminds me of a whole Bill Hicks interview that I saw him do. And I think this was with Dennis Miller, and he says, the real story behind Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, Adam's looking over at Eve, and he says, Eve, isn't this great? We're here in the Garden of Eden, and we're everything we want, we have. If we think something, we have it. Everything is just wonderful, and we have all of our needs met and all of our wants met, and everything is exactly as it should be. And as soon as we think something, we have it. And Eve looks at Adam, and she says, yeah, it's just not enough, is it? So, again, with the analyzation, if you have nothing left to analyze, and you just got to analyze stuff, you can't stop for just a minute and be. I mean, it's mind-numbing, because she's the one that told me about the be here now ideology, and sure enough, but what a shame. So anyways, this is the whole point of this video, I think, is to take a moment and to realize what we ourselves are putting out and how it's rippling back at us. If the whole with point one finger at somebody, you're pointing three right back at yourself. What you see in other people that you dislike happens to be the thing that you dislike about yourself. Well, I've learned my lesson about overanalyzing. Believe me, it's learned. So it's the reflection thing, the self-reflection thing. What do we see in others? Because that's the thing that we don't want to see in ourselves. So if we don't want to see that in ourselves, we have to learn where it is in our life that we are putting that out. And if we don't want to see it coming back at us, we need to figure out how we can work to eliminate that part of ourselves, or not eliminate it, but to change it, to work it so that you provide or you produce the kind of being that you're wanting to be. The hard part is accepting, the whole reflection concept, in that what you were seeing coming back at you is what you have put out. And it's not even a bad thing. It's more of a, do you see the ripple that you are causing in the world kind of thing. By doing this, you are casting this out. Like, okay, let's look at Facebook. If we look at Facebook, we can see that we are all connected to like almost everybody by 6 people. What are you putting out to cause it to come back? This isn't a time to judge. You know, if you're offered a choice between compassion and judgment, then, and if you choose compassion, that doesn't mean, well, I want compassion for me, but I want to cast judgment out on everybody else. No. What you put out is what you get back. If you want compassion, choose to give compassion. It's so much easier than judging other people and analyzing what's wrong with other people, instead of stopping for just a moment and saying, hey, what am I doing to cause the situation? I do it constantly. I'm very, very aware, or I'm becoming very, very aware of like the words that I use and the actions that I, again, how can you change the left front tire, or why would you change the left front tire on the car unless you are aware that the left front tire is flat? or balding or whatever. So it's basically self-awareness. You find your self-awareness, you realize, you become aware of self and what the self is casting out, and then you look at the reflections of what this self is casting out, working to change the little things in yourself that are causing the big ripples to come back at you that you dislike so much. You can't just keep throwing out the same stuff and expecting things to change. Fuck, even Obama, I have to agree with Obama. He talked about this one too. You know, the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same things and expect different results. So, and nobody should have to make an immediate, drastic change in their life. That's overburdening for anybody. This is, you know, and that would be a design to fail right there. So, but if you take the time to actually work little bit by little bit to make little changes, and pretty soon, you know, you look back and you're like, wow, I just made a whole bunch of changes. I'm a completely different person. Because it starts with one little change, one little acknowledgement, one little piece of self-awareness, and saying, I need to change that. By God, wow, that's something I've been doing and working to change that little mindset. Just a little bit every day, you know, you find that little thing and you're like, okay, well, I got to fix this just a little. But anyways, that's how I did it. It may work better some other way for somebody else. I don't know. I know what works for me, and I try to share it with you. So, peace, everybody. Have a wonderful day.